Hello, my name is Daniel Mart, back again. I am an actor and filmmaker based out of South Florida. And for this video, I'm going to be doing another collection update video, another haul video. So yeah, the last time I did a haul video like this was all the way back in January, middle to late January if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so some stuff has happened in the past month and a half, give or take, or 2 months since I did that video. I got a bunch of more movies. And also, it was my birthday 2 weeks ago, so I also got a bunch of movies because of that. And yeah, I'm basically going to show off all the movies I've gotten in the past month and a half, 2 months, and kind of go from there. And this is something I'm going to discuss later on, more towards the end of the video, but I kind of want to start doing more videos like this as well. More collection videos, maybe once a month, every month and a half. I'll just do a quick haul video as to show what movies I got, because something I've noticed is that I haven't put away or I haven't organized all the movies I've gotten ever since even back in December at the end of last year. Like, they're all here. I'll show a quick clip right now of all that. And they're all here. But yeah, I just haven't had time to put that away. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just do this haul video, show you guys what I got. And then, I don't know, maybe that'd be a good idea to do, again, at least once a month or every month and a half. And yeah, so I'm going to start off with the DVDs before I go on to the Blu-rays. And then I also have 2 books here that I picked up as well. And first off, the first one I have here, it's 8 heads in a duffel bag, and this is something you're gonna see a lot. And that's I pick up a lot of movies from the dollar store because they're $1. Why not? So that's what I have here, a dollar store pickup. And honestly, I haven't seen this movie. I've heard a lot of mixed things about this movie, but it's so pesky, so why not? And it's a comedy movie, so why not? And honestly, that's the best thing about going to the dollar store. Sometimes just finding these like random movies, whether it be B movies or movies you've never heard of, or these movies you never even think of. In some regards, in some cases, it's just great to go there and pick them up for $1. Why not? Next up, we have this collection. It's 50 Mad Scientist Theater movies, a 50 box set collection, and I got this off Macari. And yes, this is very beat up, clearly. And I got this for maybe about $10, I want to say, plus shipping and handling. So yeah, it has 50 movies. I'm not going to go through every single movie here because it's just insane. And I've seen a lot of collections like this, whether it be 50 comedies or 50 westerns or 50 old Hollywood classic movies, and all of those always seem pretty interesting to me. I honestly love picking up collections like this because there are always a bunch of these like B-level or B-movie movies that you've never heard of or never thought about, or just a lot of underground movies or so bad they're good type of movies. So I always like picking up collections like this, and I'm glad to have another one in my collection because of that. Next up, I picked up the Alfred Hitchcock 20 movie collection, and this is basically the first 20 movies he did before he became really big, before he moved to America. So yeah, for those who don't know, Alfred Hitchcock, he actually started off in silent cinema. He actually started off as a silent film director, so it has some of his early stuff here. And this is a collection that I've actually been looking for a bit of time at this point. And I think the biggest problem in trying to track this one down is the fact that there's so many versions of this collection. Some of them it's like just the first 15, some of them it's just the first 10, some of them it's like 18, some of them it has a few stuff that's after this, after his first 20 movies, and it's just kind of very hard to pinpoint in general sometimes. But eventually I found this one, and I think I got this one off of Macari as well. Next up, I picked up Almost Famous. I got this one off of Depop for $1 plus free shipping and handling, so yeah, why not? Next up, I picked up the Bruce Lee collection, and this has 5 of his movies. It has The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Weight of the Dragon, Games of Death, and Games of Death 2, so all 5 of those movies. And I'll be honest, I've actually never seen a Bruce Lee movie, so it's great to have this in the collection as well by this point, and check it out. And apparently this is the ultimate collection. Let's see how ultimate it is. But yeah, no, honestly, this does have some of those bigger movies. Of course, Fist of Fury, Weight of the Dragon, both Games of Death, and then The Big Boss. The Big Boss is really the only one here I haven't heard of, if I'm being honest, but hey, it's Bruce Lee, why not? Can't go wrong with it. Next up, we have First Man. Again, this is another dollar store pickup, and I remember when this first came out, a lot of people liked it, and then it kind of just disappeared, so it was really great to get it for $1, so yeah, why not? Speaking of which, I also got Frank, which is a movie that literally came out 10 years ago, and again, this is another movie that when it first came out, it really blew up, it was really big, and then it kind of, nobody talks about it anymore, and yeah, that's why I picked it up. Next up, I got the Werner Herzog Klaus Kinski collection, and this is honestly a collection I've been looking for some time. And honestly, quick backstory for this one, because usually this goes for about like $80, because this collection in and of itself is already hard enough to find, and usually when you do find it, it's like for $80. And I found it on this website It's one of those like antique websites, antique store websites where you have all those kind of websites, and I found it there on that website for about $40, and I thought that was a really good price because again, usually it goes for like $80. But out of curiosity, I decided to see right before I was gonna buy it on this website. I just wanted to see out of curiosity if it was somewhere else cheaper, and I found it on Mercari for $20 plus shipping and handling, and that's where I ultimately got it at the end. And honestly, this collection is the reason I really got invested or addicted to shopping on Mercari, if I'm being honest. So take that for what you will, but honestly, I really like the fact that I got this collection, and so far I've already looked at most of the movies in this collection. The only one I'm missing is My Best Fiend, which is the documentary Werner Herzog did in regards to his relationship with Klaus Kinski and working with Klaus Kinski. So I've seen every other movie here, which is Aguirre, The Wrath of God, Nosferatu, Wojciech, Fitzcarraldo, and Cobra Verde. And honestly, I think Aguirre, The Wrath of God, is maybe my favorite movie out of the bunch. Even though that's maybe sacrilegious, because Fitzcarraldo is arguably the most popular and most infamous one they've done together. But honestly, I really like Aguirre. It's exactly what I expected it in the best way possible. And again, I mean, Fitzcarraldo is still a great movie. Cobra Verde is a great movie. Nosferatu is a great movie. Wojciech is a great movie. I think Wojciech may be the weakest one, however, just because it's kind of hard to adapt that into film. Because the thing with that script, it started off as a play script for theater, and the playwright, he died right before he could complete it. And I forget why it's done like this, but when it's done in theater, these scenes are done out of order, and for cinema, it kind of makes sense that they be done in order, but I feel it kind of just loses something with it being done in order. So, go figure. But overall, still great effort. And yeah, again, the only one I need to watch here is still My Best Fiend, which is the documentary between their relationship, essentially, which was chaotic, to say the least. Next up, I picked up Hustlers. Again, another dollar store pickup. A lot of people liked this movie when it first came out. I remember people wanted J-Lo to be nominated for Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress at the time when this first came out, and I've never seen it, so I can't really comment on it, but I just find that kind of interesting. Next up, I got I Married a Witch, and I actually got this from the same seller as the Klaus Kinski Werner Herzog collection. I got this from the same seller, and yeah, this is Criterion, and that's the thing. That's the beauty of shopping on Mercari or Depop. You can find Criterions here, and yes, this is a Criterion DVD. They do DVD Criterions as well. Next up, I picked up the Sin City collection. Not collection, it's just a Sin City special pack or limited edition Ultimate Sins collection pack. That's what it's called here. And yeah, and here's the thing. I don't know why, but for some reason, I've just wanted to watch this movie. All of a sudden, I've never seen the movie, so take that for what you will. But all of a sudden, from like one moment to another, I really wanted to watch this movie. I'll be honest, I was honestly just looking for like the DVD. I wasn't looking for anything special, and then I found this Ultimate Sins Collector's Edition, whatever, and it has the graphic novel that this is based off, or some of the stories that this movie has. And yeah, just to show you, it has the graphic novel right there, which I find that very cool, very interesting. You don't really see that often, a movie coming with a comic book. I think the only company that does that is like Warner Bros. And DC for some of their DC animated movies. I want to say it's the only ones that do that I can think of right off the top of my head. But I just find that to be very cool. And, I'll be honest, finding this collection edition was kind of a pain in the ass, because I went through Amazon and it wasn't the best price. I also searched on eBay and it wasn't the best price. Eventually I found it on Mercari or Depop, one of those two, and for a decent price. I don't remember what I paid for it, but it was a decent price because I got it at the end. Next up, another dollar store pickup, The Crooked Way. Again, $1. It's a film noir film. I've been trying to expand my film noir selection from my collection for some time, so why not have it? Next up, I picked up The Gambler, and this is a movie I've been thinking about for some time. So I saw this at the time when it came out like 10 years ago, and I remember I really enjoyed it, and it's a movie that just kind of came and went in the general public, but for some reason it's just a movie that randomly has really stuck with me for some reason. I don't know why, because I don't really remember much of it, even though I did like it at the time. I think part of it has to do with the fact that George Kennedy, this is like his last movie ever, so I just find it very random that this is George Kennedy's final movie. And also, I've heard stories about this. I'm not sure how true it is, but I've heard stories that this is like the movie that Mark Wahlberg was trying to do an Oscar run for, or Oscar run with. And he was trying to get like a best actor Oscar with this movie, and I don't know how true that is, but I just find that to be very interesting because this is a movie that completely just came and went in his career. So take that for what you will. Next up, I picked up The King of Staten Island, and yeah, the Pete Davidson almost biopic type of movie. And I'll be honest, this movie actually helped me grow some respect for Pete Davidson, because before this, he was kind of, for me, he was just like the SNL guy who was dating Ariana Grande. And then this movie came out, and I had heard stories about him in regards to his personal life, how the death of his father during 9/11 really affected him. And seeing this movie really showed what he could do as an actor, and made me respect him as an actor, but also just him as a storyteller as well. I remember when this came out, because this would have come out like during the pandemic 2020. I remember people really wanted him to be nominated for Best Actor, and it didn't happen. And I, even at the time, I don't think I was in that mindset of group of people that said, oh, he should get the Oscar or be nominated for the Oscar. I thought that was so wild for me, but I kind of liked the fact that was a discussion for some time, as random as it was. So, go figure. And then last, for the DVDs, I have the Tyrone Powers collection, and this has 5 movies by Tyrone Powers. It is Blood and Sand, Captain from Castile, Prince of Foxes, Sons of Fury, and The Black Rose. And Tyrone Powers, this is just an actor that I've been interested in watching his work for some time. I've seen some of the clips from some of his movies on YouTube, but I've really had a hankering to sit down and watch some of his movies, and this is a really great collection. And honestly, just finding this collection also was kind of a pain in the ass, because it's not on Depop, and on Mercari it's like $50-$60 for some reason, but on Amazon it was there for like $20. So I got it on Amazon. So yeah. Alright, so those are all the DVDs. Now let's move on to the Blu-rays. And first off, we have a Hollis Frampton Odyssey. So you're gonna see this with this collection and another collection I have later down the line. But I'm really trying to find, or explore, better said, I'm really trying to explore experimental cinema. And part of it has to do with the fact that I am trying to get back into doing Silent Locale Cinematics, which is a web series that I had done, directed, produced, acted in around the time of the pandemic. And with that series, it's very experimental in the way that storytelling is done, whether it be through the directing or the editing or the actual filmmaking or the storytelling, whatever have you. And seeing stuff like this, the Hollis Frampton collection, or another collection, which I'm going to get later down the line, I think just really helps inspire me, those experimental juices that I have. And Hollis Frampton, he is considered one of those godfathers of avant-garde cinema. So it's just great to really have this collection on hand. And here's the thing too, like, you could definitely watch some of these short films, because the majority of this stuff is short films. You could definitely watch the majority of these short films like on YouTube, and that is completely valid. But I think the best thing about having it as a physical copy, it's one that it is a physical copy. So if it's on YouTube and it gets deleted, oh no, I may never be able to watch that short anymore. Whereas now that I have the DVD, or the Blu-ray in this case, I can pop it in whenever I want. So there's that. But it's also the fact that especially because this is a Criterion collection, and it's the fact that I'm able to look at some of the behind-the-scenes stuff of what was done to be able to create some of these short films, and I think that's just invaluable in a lot of ways. Speaking of Criterion, we also have Breathless, and this is a movie I've been trying to find for a bit of time, and it's one of those movies that kind of just popped up on my Mercari, if I'm being honest. Like, I wasn't really seeking for it, but once it popped up on my Mercari, I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Let me find it cheaper, because it was for a ridiculous price on Mercari, and eventually I found it on Depop and from the seller, and I got it for a pretty good price for about $20. And if you know Criterion, the average Criterion goes for like $40, so I basically got it for half off. And this is Jean-Luc Godard. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen a Jean-Luc Godard movie, not that I can recall. So it'll be great. Breathless is one of his pinnacle linchpin movies, so great to step into that world right off the bat with that. Speaking of Criterion as well, I also got Godland, and this one I got during the Criterion flash sale that they had last month. And definitely do check those flash sales check them out whenever they happen, and because everything's usually 50% off, you can usually get a lot of great deals. And although the thing is with Criterion, for me, although I am finding better deals from Criterion movies, whether on Depop, Amazon, or Mercari, than I am on the actual website itself, I still am finding some good deals on it, and having the flash sale and allowed me to pick this one up. And this was honestly one of my favorite movies of last year. technically it came out in 2022. Godland technically came out in 2022, but I saw it in 2023, and I put it on my list of favorite movies of 2023. It's one of those things that internationally it was released in 2022, but when it came here to America, it wasn't released until 2023. So take that for what you will. And yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite movies of last year. And honestly, if the international films weren't as competitive for the Oscars, I do think this probably would have had a good chance to get in. If it was possible, I would have loved to see this get a cinematography nomination. It wasn't gonna happen, but that would have been such a great nomination. And yeah, overall, just a really great film. I really liked it, and I've already seen it again after I got it, and it's just an amazing film to watch. Definitely do check it out. Next up, I picked up the Jurassic Park collection. So this has the first 4 Jurassic Park movies. Yeah, I've seen a lot of collections like this, whether it be the first 4 movies or the first 5 movies. And I did consider picking up a collection where it was the first 5 movies. So Jurassic Park 1, 2, and 3, and then Jurassic World and Jurassic World 2, whatever it's called. But I just didn't like the way it was packaged. It basically, it was packaged like a regular Blu-ray, if I'm being honest. Like, you know, like a Blu-ray, which is, oh, by the way, parental guidance. I got this movie as well, but, you know, we'll get to it later. But yeah, it was just packaged like a regular Blu-ray, and then the inside was just like the 5 discs stacked on top of each other. And I just thought that was a very ugly way to, like, package it. Whereas the packaging for this, the 4 movies, is just so much better, so much more amazing, so much more appealing. And, like, it kind of comes in this, like, digibook style, which I really like, I really enjoy. And that's why I got it. And honestly, a lot of people don't think highly of any of the Jurassic World movies. The first one, sure, but the other 2, they're like, fucking why? And I didn't really feel like spending money on a 5th movie if it wasn't that good, if not many people think highly of it. Yeah, so I'm like, and again, just this packaging is a lot more striking, a lot more better than just a fucking random Blu-ray case with all 5 movies shoved in there, you know? So yeah. Next up, I picked up Let the Sunshine In, another Criterion Collection movie, and I actually got this from the same seller that sold Breathless. They were doing this, and Breathless were the only 2 movies they sold. Everything else they were selling was clothes. So I picked them up, and yeah, each one cost me $20, so $40 in total. So yeah, I basically picked up 2 Criterions for the price of 1, which is just great. Next up, I picked up Little Miss Sunshine, another dollar store pickup. I've never seen it. Why not? Here we have Metropolis, and this is the anime movie Metropolis. And yes, it is inspired by the actual silent film Metropolis, obviously. And honestly, I really like this packaging. I really wasn't expecting to pick this one up, if I'm being honest. It's just one of those things that kind of just appeared on my Depop, and I found it to be very interesting, very cool. I researched it, and it just looked very amazing. Also, I love the fact that it is a steelbook, and then also just this slipcover. It's just very unique, and I really much enjoy it. And you take away the slipcover for a second, just, you know, seeing this steelbook, I just think it's honestly one of the best steelbooks I have in general. And honestly, having this slipcover on top of it, it just makes it so much more cooler, so much more interesting, and that's why I picked it up. Next up, another dollar store pickup, we have Nuclear, George McKay, and Emilia Jones. I've never heard of it, but, you know, it was there for $1, so fucking why not? And it's a Blu-ray. Honestly, that's kind of the thing. If you find a Blu-ray at a dollar store, just pick it up. Honestly, because it's so random. Because usually you do find DVDs, and, you know, that's kind of the common practice. But when you find a Blu-ray at a dollar store, it's like, yo, this is actually kind of a decent find. All right, next up we have Parental Guidance. So yeah, like I showed earlier, and yeah, this is a movie that when it first came out, I remember I liked it a lot. And it was always on TV for, like, that first year after it first came out in, like, 2013, 2014. It was always on TV, and then it kind of just stopped being on TV. And I've never heard anybody talk about it since. So I saw this at the dollar store, and I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, that movie is a movie. Holy fuck, I forgot about it, and I picked it up. Next up, kind of in a similar vein, I have Paper Towns again. It's one that really blew up when it first came out, and a lot of people talked about it for, like, the first year. It was always on TV for that first year, and then after that, it just kind of disappeared. I haven't heard anybody talk about it since, so I picked it up again for $1. And something I find very interesting, at least, about this one, it's the fact that in the inside you have, like, this little notebook and stickers that it's in regards to Paper Town with the plot of the movie. So I just find that kind of interesting, and I just want to share that. Okay, so speaking of dollar store pickups, so you guys have seen DVDs and you guys have seen Blu-rays, and I would say that's very, very general. Like, you always find DVDs, and you'll find the occasional Blu-ray, for sure. But I've never seen this at a dollar store. A steelbook. I found a goddamn steelbook at a dollar store for $1. The Sherlock Holmes steelbook. And funny enough, I actually found this literally the day after the Oscars. So that Monday after the Oscars, I found the steelbook, and it's so yeah, like I got Robert Downey Jr. his steelbook, goddamn, and yeah, for $1, fuck yes, I'm taking that, like fuck yeah. And here's the thing, I already had the DVD for this, but like this is an upgrade. I don't give a shit. It's a steelbook for $1. What the fuck, you know? This is an amazing pickup, if I'm being honest. Next up, I picked up the Star Wars collection. The first 6 movies, the complete saga. And fun fact, I guess, I've actually never seen any of the original Star Wars movies. Aside from the very first one, Episode 4, I haven't seen any of the other Star Wars movies. I've seen the sequel trilogy, and I've seen Solo and Rogue One, and yeah, so I've seen those movies. So I've seen all the modern day Star Wars movies, but I haven't seen the original trilogy. Aside from Episode 4, Episode 4 is the only one I've seen. I haven't seen Episode 5, Episode 6, Episodes 1, 2, or 3. It's just been Episode 4, and then 7, 8, 9, Solo, and Rogue One. Those are the only Star Wars stuff I've seen, so eventually I'll jump into this and really do a deep dive and watch everything. And when the time happens, I'm gonna fucking enjoy the shit out of it. And yeah, and honestly, this was also kind of a pain in the ass finding, because part of it honestly has to do with Disney Plus. Ever since Disney overtook Star Wars, this collection has been kind of a pain in the ass to find in general. It's been very expensive, and I eventually found it on, I don't remember if it was Depop or Mercari for a decent price. You know, a decent price because I own it now. And honestly, I really like the packaging for this one here. It kind of similar. It has that digibook kind of feel that Jurassic Park has. So I just really like the way it's formatted. It's amazing. I love it. And yeah, it's just really great. So yeah. So just an amazing format. Seeing those images right there, just great. And yeah, and then you have some little pamphlets and booklets here in regards to the collection and the movies as a whole. And yeah, honestly, a really great pickup, and I got it for a pretty decent price. Next up, I picked up the Apu trilogy, and this is a Criterion. And honestly, if I would have bought this off of Criterion, this would have cost me $100. But I didn't. I bought this off of Mercari, and honestly, finding this on Mercari was kind of a pain in the ass, because originally there was a seller who was selling it for like $25. I was gonna buy it for $25. I was just waiting for my paycheck to clear out, or to get paid, essentially. And it's one of those things that literally, from one day to another, it was sold out. And I'm like, holy fuck. I am really pissed off and depressed about that, because I really wanted this collection. And I was scouring through Mercari, and I found another seller who was selling it, and I managed to get them down to sell it for $30 plus shipping and handling. So eventually I got this for maybe $35 at the end, which was maybe $10 more than I would have originally paid had I bought it from the other seller. But here's the thing, even at $35, this is still a steal compared to what I would have paid off of Criterion itself, which is like $100. So overall, it's still a great price. It's still a steal, and I've already seen all 3 movies, and I have no problem in saying this, but I definitely do think that this is one of the best trilogies ever made, and definitely underrated, partially because of the fact that it is foreign cinema, and people just don't want to explore foreign cinema. But yeah, definitely by far one of the best trilogies ever made, no matter what anybody says. And sticking with Criterion and collections, I have the complete Jocks Tati collection. And this is a collection I've been looking for, I've had my eye on for some time. And again, on Criterion, this would cost me about $120, and I just didn't feel like spending $120 on this collection. As much as I really wanted this collection, I just didn't want to spend that much money. And I found it on Mercari for about $40, I want to say, somewhere around $30-40. And yeah, this is a great collection. And yeah, Jocks Tati is a filmmaker I really wanted to explore. I've been wanting to explore for some time, and finally got the chance to do it. And overall, he has a great career, in my opinion. I do think that Parade is maybe his weakest film. It's basically a bunch of vignettes, if I'm being honest, and it honestly felt, I was watching the movie Parade, and it honestly felt like somebody trying to do a Jocks Tati film. But the thing is that this is Jocks Tati, so yeah, I mean, the thing with Parade, too, is that it's a TV movie. It's not like the other 5 movies here. Jour de Fête, Monsieur, Hollywood's Holiday, My Uncle, Playtime, and Traffic. It's not like those 5 were theatrically released. Parade is a TV movie, so that may have something to do with it, but overall, still a great collection. All the movies here, aside from Parade, I'm gonna lie, Parade, sucked. But all the other movies here, I think at the very least, are really good. Playtime and My Uncle are honestly the standouts. And I mean, here's the thing: from a story perspective, I like My Uncle a lot more. But from a visual perspective, I think Playtime is just a masterpiece. So yeah, I mean, obviously those two are the masterpieces, and then of course you have Joy the Fett and Monster Hulut's Holiday. I think those are really good, especially for entry level Jacques Tati, which is very early on in his career, and trying to figure out what he is as a filmmaker. Then you have his masterpieces, My Uncle and Playtime, and then you have Traffic, which was basically hampered. Because here's the thing: as big as Playtime and as big as My Uncle were, and as successful as they were, at the end of the day, they were both still financial bombs, and that really affected what he could do later on in his career, and that's why Traffic kind of turned out the way it did, and then Traffic bombed, and that's kind of why Parade is a TV movie at the end. Alright, so as I said with the Hollis Frampton collection, I am trying to get into more avant-garde cinema, and another godfather or godmother of that genre will be Maya Deren. And again, Maya Deren, these short films you can find on YouTube easily. That is not the issue. But again, just having the physical media, on hand, and being able to see some of the behind the scenes stuff, like the commentary or the bonus features or whatever have you, having that information on hand is so valuable that you just don't get from watching these short films on YouTube or wherever. And again, I am trying to expand my avant-garde cinema brain, I guess you could say, or that area of filmmaking for both myself as an actual filmmaker and as a film lover. I am trying to expand more into that area a bit more. So again, having the Hollis Frampton collection is just amazing. It's great. It's invaluable. So yeah, those are it for the movies, for the DVDs and the Blu-rays. And like I said, I do have 2 books that I want to show off very fast. And the first one is Colors of Film: The Story of Cinema in 50 Palettes by Charles Bramesco. And yeah, basically this is I guess you could say it's kind of an art book. I mean, you basically just have palettes of arts, like it says, of different movies. And it starts off with Georges Méliès's A Trip to the Moon. That's the first movie here. So it starts off with A Trip to the Moon. And it ends pretty recent in 2020, 2021 with one of the Small Axis episodes. So yeah, it ends with Lover's Rock from Stephen McQueen, which I believe is from the Small Axis miniseries, anthology miniseries that he had on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken. So it goes from Georges Méliès to Steve McQueen, and it has everything in between. And I really like this. You just flipping through the pages and looking at some of these movies I've never heard of. Like right now, I'm on Songs from the Second Floor. I've never heard of this movie, but it looks striking. I could flip to another page, and here I have, wow, I actually have Star Wars. Go figure. So, that's just amazing about stuff like this. I have Schindler's List here. I could just flip, and I could look at movies I know. I could look at movies I don't know. Here I have Blue Velvet, which is a great movie, and just read about them from a cinematography perspective and what they're doing color palette wise. And overall, that's just great. That's just great. And what movie is this? Oh, this is Suspiria. Suspiria. So yeah, a great book to have. And then the other book I have, it's the Encyclopedia of Heavy Metal by Daniel Bushpan, I believe it's how you say it. And yeah, basically it's the Encyclopedia of Heavy Metal. And I mean, I kind of don't know if this is exactly heavy metal, because there's some bands here where I don't know if I would consider them heavy metal. And it's one of those things, if those bands are considered heavy metal, why are these other bands not considered heavy metal? And my main gripe, so to speak, is the fact that they have Alice in Chains here, but they don't have stuff like Nirvana or Soundgarden. Like Alice in Chains is grunge, but you don't have the rest of the grunge guys, the other grunge bands here. Like, what the hell? That makes no sense. And I was looking at this earlier, like just looking at the table of contents, and I was trying to figure out what's the most recent band they have here, because it is mostly focused on the 80s and 90s, if I'm being honest. You do have a few 70s bands here, like you do have Led Zeppelin here, for example, but it's mostly within that 80s and 90s area. So I was trying to figure out which one is probably the most recent band here, and I'm thinking like Slipknot is here, so probably Slipknot or Lacuna Coil or Lamb of God, like one of those three are probably the most recent ones here. Overall, just another great book to have, and yeah, that's the thing, I'm a huge rock fan, so I might as well have it. So yeah, that's basically my whole collection of everything that I picked up in the past month and a half, essentially. And yeah, what are your thoughts on it? I definitely do need to. I'm gonna finish the Herzog collection, the Klaus Kinski Herzog collection, because I still need to see the documentary. So I need to do that. And after that, I'm not sure if I'm gonna move on to Jurassic Park or Star Wars. I'm gonna go into one of those two. And after that, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna watch. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's basically it for now. What are your thoughts on this? Again, I'll probably do another collection video like this in a month, just because I do tend to pick up a lot of movies now. That's the thing. Ever since the pandemic, I kind of really stopped collecting movies during the pandemic for just a variety of reasons. But now that we're finally getting out of the pandemic, I have the ability to now actually buy a lot more movies. I'm kind of going ham in a sense. So yeah, I'm probably going to do this at least once a month or a month and a half. Just, hey, here's a quick update on the collection. What do you guys think? And kind of go from there. But yeah, that's basically it for now. Comment all that down below. Let me know on your thoughts on the collection, on what I picked up. What should I pick up next? Comment all that down below. Let me know. And yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.